Next week on The Young and the Restless.
Once upon a time, there was a man who had no memory, and he met a woman, and then he asks her out on a date.
Look, all I really have to do is lure the doctor away from his house.
And what happens when he becomes suspicious of you?
I promise you, we're gonna do everything that we can to fix this, okay?
The Young and the Restless Monday, June 1st update. Victor's demand disgusts Nikki. Jack hires PI to find Diane. The Young and the Restless, Y&R, update for Monday, June 1st, indicates that Victor Newman, Eric Braden, will deliver a shocking ultimatum to Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. Meanwhile, Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, admits he's made a bold move in hopes of tracking Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters down. At Society, Jack will walk in on Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, and Billy Abbott's Jason Thompson. Happy wedding talk. It'll leave Billy and Sally worried that they're rubbing Jack's nose in their bliss, but he'll insist their happiness gives him hope for his own future. Of course, Jack will remain worried about Diane going MIA, so he'll speak to Billy about that after Sally leaves. Billy will find out Jack's suspects Patty Williams, Stacey Hayduke, might be to blame for Diane's absence. That'll lead to Billy admitting fears of his own based on a comment Patty made about dealing with Diane. Jack will wonder why he's just now hearing this news, but Billy will insist he told Diane and that she downplayed it as Patty's usual ramblings. Jack will confess that he hired a private investigator to find Diane before he lets Billy distract him with a wedding-related request. When Billy asks Jack to be his best man, Jack will quickly get on board and offer a hug. At the Newman Ranch, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, will give Nikki and Victor a nudge to work things out, especially considering everything that's been going on with Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow. After Victoria exits, Nikki will express her willingness to put the past behind them, so Victor will seem to want that, too. However, the plan will fall through when Victor demands that Nikki end her friendship with Jack. Once Nikki's pressured to choose between Jack and Victor, she'll get outraged all over again. After Nikki gets another headache, she'll pop a pill and seem a bit woozy. At the park cafe, Sally will start panicking a bit now that her life is so perfect. It'll make Sally worry about everything falling apart, but Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, will give her a pep talk and calm her down. Other Y&R spoilers say Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, will have an idea on how to get Matt Clark's, Roger Howarth, memories to resurface. That'll lead to Noah showing Nick, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, and Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, the finished product of the new version of the Shadow Room in Genoa City. Since it'll be a copy of the original, Nick will drag Matt over there and let him look around. It won't feel familiar initially, but then Matt will face some memory flashes. Matt will recall Nick decking him by the bar and Sharon speaking to him outside the Shadow Room in Los Angeles. Matt will also remember tense conversations with Sienna, Noah, and Victor at his former nightclub. As Matt gets a strange look on his face, Noah will guess that things are starting to come back to him. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Matt will keep getting puzzle pieces from his old life, so stick with the CBS soap. CDL's the place to be for sizzling Young and the Restless spoilers and news, so make us your one-stop Y&R source. Monday's episode of The Young and the Restless delivers another emotional roller coaster as family loyalty, suspicion, and long-buried secrets collide. Victor Newman once again proves that he refuses to let anyone stand in the way of protecting his empire, but this time his ruthless attitude pushes Nikki to her breaking point. Meanwhile, Jack Abbott grows increasingly worried after Diane suddenly disappears, forcing him to take drastic action by hiring a private investigator. The tension begins at the Newman Ranch, where Victor is more determined than ever to control every situation unfolding around him. Convinced that someone close to the family cannot be trusted, he makes a demand that shocks everyone in the room. Rather than considering the emotional consequences of his decision, Victor insists that his plan is the only way to protect the Newman legacy. Nikki is immediately disgusted by what she hears. Having spent years defending her husband despite his countless manipulative schemes, she finally reaches a point where she cannot stay silent. Nikki argues that Victor's obsession with winning has caused unnecessary pain for too many people already. She warns that treating family members like pawns will only create more enemies and deepen the divisions within the family. Victor refuses to back down. In his mind, Difficult decisions are necessary, and he believes history has proven him right more often than not. He insists that emotions have no place when the future of the Newman family is at stake. His cold response leaves Nikki heartbroken as she realizes the compassionate man she once fell in love with seems to be disappearing beneath Victor's relentless desire for control. Their heated confrontation quickly becomes one of the episode's most memorable moments. Nikki refuses to simply agree with Victor for the sake of peace, while Victor grows increasingly frustrated that his wife questions his judgment. Their disagreement highlights the growing cracks in one of Genoa City's most iconic marriages. At the same time, another crisis unfolds across town. Jack Abbott becomes deeply concerned when Diane cannot be reached. At first, he assumes there may be a reasonable explanation for her silence. However, as more time passes without any word, his concern turns into genuine fear. Jack begins contacting friends and family, hoping someone has seen Diane recently. Each conversation only raises additional questions. No one seems to know where she is or why she vanished without warning. Realizing every minute could matter, Jack makes the difficult decision to hire an experienced private investigator. He knows that waiting any longer could make finding Diane even more difficult. The investigator immediately begins collecting information, retracing Diane's recent movements, interviewing potential witnesses, and searching for clues that might explain her mysterious disappearance. Jack struggles to remain calm, but the uncertainty weighs heavily on him. Every unanswered phone call and every dead end increases his anxiety. Memories of previous tragedies remind him how quickly lives can change in Genoa City, making it impossible to ignore the possibility that Diane may be in serious danger. As the investigation gets underway, several possible theories emerge. Did Diane leave voluntarily? Is she protecting someone? Or has she become the target of an unknown enemy seeking revenge? Each possibility creates even greater suspense as viewers wonder what really happened. Elsewhere, members of both the Newman and Abbott families begin reacting to the latest developments. Some believe Victor's actions are making an already tense situation much worse, while others reluctantly admit that his instincts have occasionally uncovered dangerous threats before anyone else recognized them. The contrast between Victor and Jack becomes especially noticeable throughout the episode. Victor relies on intimidation, authority, and absolute confidence, convinced that strength alone will solve every problem. Jack, however, approaches his crisis with concern, determination, and compassion. Rather than attempting to control everyone around him, he focuses entirely on finding the woman he loves. Nikki finds herself caught between loyalty to her husband and her own moral convictions. Although she understands Victor's desire to protect the family, she cannot accept methods that sacrifice trust and honesty. Her disappointment becomes impossible to hide, suggesting that their marriage may soon face one of its biggest challenges yet. Meanwhile, the private investigator uncovers the first pieces of evidence surrounding Diane's disappearance. Although the clues are limited, they suggest that her disappearance may not have been random. Someone may have been watching her long before she vanished. This revelation leaves Jack with even more questions than answers. Determined to uncover the truth, he vows not to stop searching until Diane is safely home. His determination demonstrates just how much their relationship has evolved despite the many obstacles they have faced over the years. As Monday's episode draws to a close, viewers are left wondering whether Victor's latest scheme will ultimately protect his family or destroy the trust that still remains. Nikki's disgust may mark the beginning of a much larger conflict within the Newman household, while Jack's search for Diane promises to become one of the show's biggest ongoing mysteries. With powerful confrontations, emotional performances, and intriguing new questions, this episode sets the stage for even more dramatic developments in the days ahead. Whether Victor will reconsider his ruthless strategy or Nikki will finally refuse to support him remains uncertain. Likewise, Diane's disappearance threatens to reshape the Abbott family as Jack races against time to uncover the truth before it is too late.